Hey guys, my name is Seniac and welcome back to another episode of our beautiful canal town here in City Skylines. Well, today we're actually going to start building our very first industry. Now, I gave you guys the vote. We're eventually going to build both of them, fishing and farming, but you guys voted for the farming first. I don't know how, but I managed to get the landscaping tools working, so that's all good. We can finally start placing down some natural resources to make this farming industry so damn beautiful. But today we'll focus on the bare bones a bit. We'll get the infrastructure all set up. We'll place down a couple of farms and see how far we can go. And we'll probably save the imports and exports for next episode as I continue to expand that network. But guys, if you are enjoying this series and want to see more, make sure you smash the like button down below. And if you are new in here, make sure you do subscribe to get more, get notified when more episodes do come out. And I think I have, I'll double check, but I should have the Parks and Plazas DLCs. Plazas and Promenades, is that what it's called? I forget what it's called. Yes, enabled. Which kind of means I can zone some areas. And the areas themselves, you can give them the residential thingy of them being wall-to-wall residents. So the buildings are like kind of connected. Now, if that doesn't scream... I mean, I know this is called New Amsterdam, but if that doesn't scream Old Amsterdam vibes, I don't know what will. So I'm kind of going to test it. Right now. How big is the zoning for this New Amsterdam area? Okay, we're up to here. So, actually, do you know what I'll do? I'll test it on a smaller area first, just in case it's so freaking ridiculous. You know, I don't want to do it. But I feel like that will be the perfect way to kind of stylize this whole area. So, oh, I got create an extra section just here. What's going on, boys? What's going on? So the residential bit here, if I do now, because we've got the normal self-sufficient, the non-residential specialization, but now we have the resident wall-to-wall, which is a modern residential wall-to-wall buildings. The probability of fire starting in these buildings is reduced. Fire spreads more easily from building. So the probability of fire starting is reduced, but if there is a fire, they spread easier. So bam, there we go. So we'll come back to this, and we'll see how this physically changes the area. Now remember, it's only for residential. I don't know if I can do it for... Oh, you can do it for commercial as well. Okay, so we don't do it for commercial. You can't do it for industries, right? No. There we go. So commercial and residential are now being changed. We'll see how this area transforms itself. So we'll come back a little bit later. So what I want to do is I want to build a farming area or industry all through this section. You see how we got these little beautiful little kind of... It looks like there's already farms there already, don't they? But what it is actually is it's different types of resources. Actually, I can't view it like that, can I? I've got to go to resource here. It's kind of like a visual trick. You've got ore, oil, and fertile land kind of dotted around to kind of give you these different shades of fields. And that's what I want to try and utilize. We'll start with kind of utilizing this entry point here onto this side, using this one over here as well. I probably will also dot it variously through this. I don't know how intertwined it's going to be, but it should be quite a decent area. So what I'm going to do then, I'm going to focus on this junction here. We're going to enter from here, which means I've got to sort this out. It is a 4-lane road. I kind of want to keep it to a 4-lane road, but I might use the thinner version. Bend this through and then kind of bring it all the way down to here. And then eventually connect to there. And then the road will continue to go around. La-di-da-di-da. Now, for train network, because eventually I'm going to bring the ability over here to import and export, we're going to utilize this. Where this comes over and kind of bends in, we're going to get it where this goes straight over, kind of comes around and goes that way. Thus, I mean, I know I've got this going through here as well, which I could utilize, but I want to kind of keep it all separate. Thus meaning I need to do a nice little connection between these two. I've got it all figured out. We'll eventually get there. But let me change this road first then. So this is going to be like the kind of the spine road through this whole area. Now we've got the normal 4-lane style road, big chunky boy. But I could go for something a bit more smaller and still have the same type of capacity. So if I anarchy this, it's a 4-lane road but a thinner version. Now I don't know if I have like a highway style of that. I don't know if I have a highway version that is also quite thin. Can I bring this down by 1? There we go. I don't think I do. I've got like these, which are as wide as the normal 4-lane roads. I think that is probably the best version I'm going to technically have. So let me just make sure from the get-go, right, that we're slightly above the actual canal itself. And then we'll just pretty much run with all of this. So bring that back down then. And then we'll kind of go with it and see what we can kind of come up with. So bring it out by another 10, and now we're in this area. So bring that down by 1 more. So I want to get it to where it kind of doesn't just gotta go for it like in a normal fashion. It kind of mixes itself in, because I want to try and get it to run, not between the trees, but have some form of organization as it does tear through. I reckon I'm going to utilize from here right now. So you've got the trees on the side. It kind of divides the field nicely. Unfortunately, it's going to tear through this one, but I want to try and get it to kind of come down here, bend through the tree line, some sorts or some way, I don't know, to kind of connect it up. I feel like that would be kind of cool. So if I just naturally kind of set up a few points that I want it to kind of run through. Oh, in reality, I should have got it going down through here. So if I place that back down again, what road was I using? It was this one, wasn't it? So if I bring it down to, let's just go to there. Because I don't want it to be so, I don't want to be like 100% organized area, you know what I mean? I want it to have some type of like features to it. 34 by 25, I'll roll with that. That will work. Now for here, for example, I'm going to have to, I mean, ideally you want it to go through there, but I feel like that is a little bit too much of a close call. So I might kind of get it up to there and then bend round this way. So if I ran to about there for now with that one, and then try and get them to connect up. But let's just kind of go over a couple of connections to begin with. So a 10 by 10 and straight in. So that runs all the way to there. We can do a nice little wiggle bend to kind of get that all connected in. And the same thing we can do for these. So let's see what the connection tool kind of predicts for us. So if I go quite big, we'll go with that. That's fine. That gives me a couple of options to play around with. This one's a little bit closer than you expect. So you're going to see a harsher bend on that. But I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Now, for now, what I'll do is I'll just connect it as a T-junction until eventually I'll set it up to be something a little bit better. Now, we will upgrade this road as well to there. I feel like it only makes sense. Upgrade that road. This is just a placeholder road until I figure something out. And let me just kind of get this slightly elevated up as well. So select you, select you. So they're both above slightly the canal, so it doesn't look like it's clipping into it. And then we have a road now tearing through this area. Nice and simple. Nothing too crazy. But it allows me to access certain parts. So to give us the kind of effect that this is certain land. Actually, do you know what? I was going to say if I could like do all this, get rid of all of that there, and then kind of place in some trees and whatnot. But I'm realizing that when I place all this farmland stuff down, it's going to have to be fertile land anyway. So I reckon we kind of like zhuzh it all up a little bit later. So in terms of industries then, we have the farming area. We got these little dots here for fertile land, but I can kind of add it all in myself anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. But we're going to build the actual main building to the farm. Now, the actual main building to the farm doesn't need to be on fertile land, so I could technically use one of these kind of fields here, which is, I think that's meant to be ore or oil. I'm not too sure which one it is. What's the darker one? It's ore. So I can use one of them to kind of build my main building. Thus, I get to keep the shade that this land is for the area. So we're going to use the raw style roads, and we're going to for these. I could go dirt roads as well, but I don't know how much I want to push that going forward. But if I bring this up by a 15, 5 by 5, let me see what the main building's like if I like place this down. So I could kind of just drop it just there. Nothing too mental about that. It's just simple. It just needs to do what it needs to do, right? And then for the farming area, oh no, wrong button. The industry, sorry. We need to go big, and then I'm just going to cover this whole area up. So I don't know how big I'm going to make it to begin with. So this will just be my like kind of way of covering all aspects. So there's the main building then. We got the main building in. And what are the worker barracks like? At least, yeah, they're the small ones. So I can use the worker barracks to kind of simulate or pretend I'm growing like some type of community. Like I'm creating like mini villages. You know what I mean? So I could bring that up to there. And I could kind of maybe come out by... I don't know if it's a good idea to come out by a 10 just there. And maybe a little bit just here. And in this way, I can then place down some of these little worker barracks. And then it feels like you're kind of semi-building a little bit of a village. You know what I mean? You kind of get those little vibes. I'll bring that down to just here. And we'll place down a few more as well. So the more of these you place down, obviously, the more kind of efficiency you get for the area. So place them down there. So a couple down there. It looks like I've created like a little mini village, which is pretty nice. It is pretty nice. So that straight away gives us... Does it tell us the efficiency rating already? Wait, does it? Or have we got to get all this up and running? Then it will tell me the efficiency. Maybe that's what happens. So I ain't going to worry too much about the water kind of aspect at the moment. We got that down. Oh, we also need to do the maintenance building as well. The maintenance building is a little bit large as well. I mean, I could connect these straight down like that. And then just plop the maintenance building just there. And then we've got what we need down. So now we're on to the fields then. So we'll place down a couple of fields to begin with. And I'll utilise this here as a simple crossroad to begin with. Right? Oh no, because I don't want to ruin my farming area. I want to try and stick to the tree line. So it kind of feels like these are the edges of the farming space that we get to work with. You know what I mean? So if I go now straight, it's like I've gone around the ring there of a field. You know what I mean? And I feel like I might upgrade all this to dirt road. What's a dirt road look like? Because there's two variations of dirt road that I do have. I've got that, or I can go for the skinnier one. What do you reckon is better? Should I go for the skinnier version? Is it less intimidating? Maybe. So we'll go off that. And I'll do the same around a couple of these little spots right now. So I'm going to bring that up to there. I'm going to bring that out to here and then kind of just run it all the way through. And we will have to plant down more trees as well. So I will eventually connect all up as well. I just want to do a couple more here and there. And some of this we will have to slightly change too. Alright, bring it to there. Actually, what we should do is also have, like, if I ran that straight. Can I get away with that in a couple of other areas? I don't think I can. But I can run down, like, a little bit of a diagonal. I could run that and maybe end this. Do you know what we should try and combine it and intertwine them so it doesn't feel like it's like a whole piece. So then you kind of get this as a little bit of a crossroad. And that feels a bit more natural, right? And that ends like that. Now it feels more intertwined, doesn't it? Which makes me want to kind of then make a new field here. So if I had this kind of coming down and then just went straight into like that. That there runs into there. And then I do the same here. If I delete this. See, now I'm kind of getting a vibe. You know what I mean? And we've got these little country lanes spilling out. So delete you. And I can run that down and just create like a whole new one altogether. Where maybe this cuts up to there. Goes in. And then I'll just connect that like that. Destroy this one. Because we now get the gist of what we're trying to accomplish. like this. This all runs through nicely right now. Oh, this is really good, isn't it? I like this. So I'll run this down, go it up. So in reality, I could kind of leave these as they are. I don't know how much I would kind of want to connect them. Oh, I can actually connect that U like this. What have I created here? Oh my goodness me, that was shocking. See, I'm not liking this, but I feel like I need to delete that. And that to come into there. And then to see how I can kind of finish this up. So that ends like that. Because I'm going to have to manually create a couple more fields. Is what I'm going to have to do. See, that's not too shabby. I don't know how that's going to play out for, you know, the future of this with the amount of vehicles going through this area. But then again, it doesn't have to be so mental. I can have that run to there. See, a part of me now wants to get this here kind of slightly connected. We'll see how this goes. This will be my first little kind of tester. Then if this works, I'll apply this in various other locations. Now, I won't worry about the design, the color kind of patterns at the minute. What I will do is I'll place down all the buildings that I kind of want to begin with. And then from that, we'll then color code as we wish. I think that's what I'll do more than anything. Yeah. So an export area is going to come over, kind of bend round. I'll probably make it go all the way up. Or do I widen it to have... No, I'm not going to have ships come up here. And we'll kind of create... We might have to upgrade one of these roads coming through here to a more dominant road to be able to get the vehicles passing through. But yeah, you kind of get the idea of how we kind of going to work with it. So small crop fields. Alright, we can kind of start placing a couple down right now. Just like that. We've got large crop fields. We've got medium crop fields as well. So at the minute, I am actually placing them in areas that are kind of slightly fertile, which isn't such a bad thing. So larger crop fields just there. We got some fruit fields as well. That's going to be quite important to squeeze a couple of these bad boys in. A couple of fruit fields here and there, boys. Here and there. And alright, we'll go... Okay, we'll save some larger ones for some of the other areas. So bam, bam, bam. And then we've got some... we've got some... Actually, some really bigger versions. There we go. And then we've got some animal pastures as well. So again, making sure I got all this in. I'm trying to make sure that I'm equally spreading it all out. So when I add the stuff in for it, the color coding system for the fields, it is all nicely spread out. Some animal pastures just there. And I reckon I can get away with maybe 2 more here. So that is quite a fair bit, to be honest with you. It is quite a fair bit. It is nicely spread out. It does feel quite rural. Now, if I go to paint down the natural resources, we need the fertile land. So we need it. And, okay, get rid of you. So the light greyish, this, make sure none of this is around any of the areas that I want to work with right now. This will be the dark grey. Which, to be honest with you, it's not quite there. And then all I've got to do then is place down with my brushes the fertile land for all of this. I might have to get rid of some of the trees. So are they complaining about there's not enough? Multiple problems. One of them is not enough low amount of kind of natural resources. So if I just first get rid of the trees around them so I can plant in or place down more of the fertile land, and then we'll place down our trees around these buildings as we kind of go. So get rid of all up to there, because these are farming lands that we've got to work with. There we go, there we go, there we go. And then place down as much of this as we can. So it does get a little bit difficult to place this down, but this should give us plenty of natural resources right now. I should actually go for that style of brush, because that should, in reality, brush it a lot more than normal. La-di-da-di-da. Get all that in. Now, if any of them kind of complaining still about the natural resources, these guys down here, believe it or not, are still complaining. Now, I don't know whether that could be down to the fact that I also need to sort the water system out. Now, don't get triggered by my water placement, okay? It is what it is. I'm just doing the bare minimum to get these guys sorted. That's all I'm doing. And then we're going to have to sort out their needs. So that's all covered up to there. So that's all covered. Obviously, some of them are going to need power, don't get me wrong. But I'm still trying to sort out these natural resources. Now, what's their problem right now? Not enough raw... Oh! No, wait, do they need crops? I think because they're animal pastures, they need crops, don't they? But then again, these guys are alright. Oh, but then again, they've got crops. So I'll wait for some stuff to be delivered over here. Now, we'll quickly give these guys power over here. And we'll do it in the form of a... Oh, see, I can't even do a wind turbine because of what it is. I mean, then again, look how far away the power system is. Come on, Seniac, you can do this, boy. Where do I bring it from? Up here? I mean, I could have this just follow us through to there, because I can have a quick little connection just here to here. And that'll give us the power that's needed just for this little area there. So we're all powered up right now, basically. We're all powered up. Okay. So with that said, I'm just going to quickly, again, continue with the visualization for these fields. So you get the differences in here. So if you don't put any resources in, it's that color. That's the oil. That's the ore. So you see the differences now. And it really does feel like it's actual farming land, doesn't it? Now, granted, we do need to place down some trees. I do have what's known as the ender brush, which if I do it here, it gives us that kind of style. But looking at it, it's mainly the darker style of the trees. Now, if I use the new brush... No, not the new brush. We'll go for the new 0. And what's currently ticked on this? Nothing. I can't really tell what these trees are. But I know they're darker green. So we'll go with first the sugar maple. I mean, I don't think it's that one, but it kind of fits within the vibe. We've got the green tree. Where are those trees? Is it this one? The generic pine? I mean, it does kind of work. Toggle brush options. Toggle trees panel. Toggle brush shapes. That's a new one. See, not all of this works. Now, I can't really tell what trees are which. A large bush. I don't really know. That's the best way I can put it. I don't really know. So if I just kind of go with these for a minute. I see. I feel like they don't fit. Or is it because they're all kind of small trees? I'll get rid of the large bush. I don't want that. So I want those like large redwoods. Sugar maple will go with. Green tree, maybe not. Generic pine. Do we have redwoods? What are they? Wild hedge. Aha, okay, we need some wild hedge. That's important. Do need some wild hedge. Some tall cut grass. Aha! Okay, now we're starting to get there. Now we're starting to get there. Horse chestnut. Do you know what? Yes. We'll take this. So bringing down the strength of it, I can then run this down the roads. And in some areas, obviously, bulk it up more than others. But running it through the roads gives us the tree line that you would normally see. You know what I mean? And then some areas, obviously, will be a bit more bulky than others. Because that's just kind of technically how it works. I don't know what's happened here with the road. I really don't know what's happened there with the road. So I'll just kind of kill it to there for just a minute. Oh my goodness me, that was kind of crazy. So this allows me then, with the new extended roads that I've built in, to kind of give us more control over what we've just now built. So there we can definitely kind of call it, we'll close it off. Come down there. Especially running through the main strip of road that we do have. Now we don't have, that looks actually really good, I like it. We don't have any ability to import and export yet, nor do we have the ability to store any goods nearby. Now, are these now delivering the goods to any of these places? Because we're still waiting for these to get... See, they've got the crops, and now they're not complaining. So that's pretty much what it is. But I need some storage buildings. That's my next mission. So I won't do any processing buildings, but we will store some goods. So we can do a couple of large barns. And again, these will be placed in like little areas that... Well, we need to be careful where we place them in and what areas we place them in as well. So I could pinpoint them at the end of some of these little peninsulas as a way to kind of store some of the goods kind of nearby. And maybe a couple of these grain silos as well. We could hopefully utilize. So we will see naturally a lot of traffic right now. We will naturally see a lot of traffic. Now these actually do need power. So that's where I kind of need to think about how I get some of this power connected. So if I went to there with that, went to there with that, but I don't feel like that's going to work out too well. And then maybe run slightly at the back out of the way. So that kind of connects some of the power up. And now I'm just going to get the power connected over to here. I mean, you do have power lines that do tear through farming areas. So, again, none of this is nothing new. This is just how the real world lives. So, now a lot of these farming places are going to, well, especially the animal pastures are going to complain there's not enough crops. Because now all of a sudden, they're going to be sending all the goods that they need to kind of store here to the storage section. So, you're going to have to kind of give it a little bit of time. But I feel like I might need some more farming stuff anyway. So we are producing animal products, we have crops, and we also have our own little section of imports. And we are actually making a profit from the farming industry, believe it or not. It's a very basic one, but it gets the point across at the moment. So we'll have a little fast forward then and see what happens. So while we wait for this to tick along, how are our wall-to-wall zoning looking? Our wall-to-wall zoning right now does not exist for the residential. It doesn't exist for the residential. That is interesting. Is it only a high density thing only? Maybe it's... I don't know what's happened, but it's kind of killed off all my residential. Interesting. Very interesting. Is that enough to connect for power? Yes. Now, is it killed off my residential because it turns out it had no power, so it all naturally died? Because the commercial hasn't fully replaced itself. And this wall-to-wall is definitely a different style. I don't know how I mean, okay, you can see the wall-to-wall right now. I get it. I get the gist of it. But it's not what I was expecting. I'll be completely honest with you right now. It was not what I was expecting. Okay. And even with this right now, even with this and the extra 1,200 workers, do I have quite a high unemployment rate? I mean, it's 16%. I wouldn't say it's massively high, but again, this is providing a lot of jobs for a lot of workers. So I feel like we also need to think about squeezing a few more fields and farms here and there. So where could I kind of squeeze the odd one or two in again? I could kind of go in the back here. I'm trying to get it within the gaps. So little field just there. Squeeze a little field in just here. Go for some smaller variations maybe. Over there. Definitely got a couple of bit of room here. So starting to bulk it up a bit more now. Add a few more in. Get a few more peeps working here and there. I mean, it doesn't increase the jobs much, but we've added like an extra 200 people working in these areas. So look at the traffic right now over on the left as it all now goes to the kind of the barn area. Not the barn, the silos to fill up. So once it's all filled up, the area will kind of go back to normal. So we're kind of in this weird period right now where we're going to be losing money. We're going to be importing goods because the industry thinks we've got no crops. But in reality we do. We're just filling up the storage at the minute. So no stress, no dramas. That is not 100% over the canal. And we'll just let this area kind of grow. So we wanted to bring public transport over here. That's something that we can very, very easily do. We can even bring ferries along as well with the canal system. I still need to get that barges mod and check it all out. Right, what's going on over here then? There's not enough customers, which is understandable because we have no residential technically growing. I don't know what's going on with this. Do I replace this low density with high density? And just see if any of it grows then? Because that wall-to-wall is definitely interesting. We'll see what happens. But I just literally have no residential growth at all. And I think that's more down to the fact that I need to spend some industry demands to kind of creep it up slightly. I feel like I slightly do. So we'll spend a bit of it anyway. So we've got some office space over here we can utilise. I won't go too far with it. That will spend a little bit of the demand. The commercial's enough that it's now filled all this up and it should slowly kind of upgrade it. But yeah, it's weird to have no residential growth whatsoever. I mean, I could... Okay, we're going to need some services in here. But I could place like little kind of communities down around here with residential. But I don't know if that's a little bit too far out. Or just kind of build these areas up a bit more. So we've got some commercial down here. There is a bit of space that I can kind of fill a little bit more up down there with commercial. It's very residential heavy through some of these spots. And we've spent a lot of commercial in all this. Now, we'll go down to here with the commercial just because of the way, naturally, that we're bringing passengers, travellers, tourists through all of this. So we can spend that there. We've got a little bit of residential demand. Does that mean we're now going to spend it and it's going to grow in these sectors? Again, I don't know. Honestly, do not know. Right, so where can I spend a bit more? I do need to spread my industrial areas a little bit further out as well. So we'll go for some dirty industrial. Maybe just down to here. And we'll go from there to there with it. Spend those demands. Has it all got water down here? Yes. So again, spending industrial demands. Oh, okay, so they are building wall-to-wall apartment blocks. This is low density. Problem is, there's no power here, so that will eventually die off. Because of where it's naturally kind of tried to build itself. Oh, look at that. It's definitely wall-to-wall. Definitely is wall-to-wall. I'm trying to see if I can kind of just place that in for now, just to try and get it to stay. And we'll see what happens. So a bit of drama here right now with the amount of vehicles trying to filter out. Some reason they're stopping here. There is a weird... I mean, I do need to turn that into a V, but there's a weird little section there that's stopping them from filtering on as easy as they would like. But there's many road fixes I've got to do in general anyway, so that should slowly start filtering these vehicles out a bit easier. Oh, these don't have water. Well, they do, just doesn't cover the whole area. Right, very good, very good. And have they now stopped sending all the goods to the silos? I'm going to assume yes. Now there's not enough buyers of the products, which is a good sign, because it means now we've got to focus on the exports. But we're making profit over here. The efficiency is 90% with all those worker barrackses. So now we just got to produce some flour and get some imports coming in and out. But I think that's a good way to build the farming area. I really do. I really do think it's a good way to build the farming area. I don't know if I'm going to place down the flour mills. Oh, this is a good point. I can build the flour mills all here and utilize this train station stop here as a way to kind of connect them up to get them in and out. Then I haven't got to bring the train line through here and ruin the countryside. Oh, the decisions, boys. The decisions. A lot of stuff we can get up to, but again, we've still got to figure out a way to bring the goods in and out. Not a problem. But you'll see this highway right now being utilised a little bit more as we can now bring the goods in, because it's gone very quiet ever since we kind of connected this middle one up and going through there. It's become very quiet. So now we're starting seeing some more movement on here. It's a good little start from farming industry, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. If you did, smash that like button down below. And until next time, I'll see you all soon, guys. So